and you become like that. You get tied to cigarette smoking like a prisoner. You're a prisoner of tobacco or alcohol. The problem with tobacco is that the nicotine will cause what is called vasoconstriction. It makes your vessels thinner. So naturally, your heart is pumping blood to your blood vessels. So the pressure in your heart must be higher than your blood vessels. So if your blood vessels are getting thinner, it means it's like a hose pipe. If you find a hose pipe in a tank, then you follow the sand above a hose pipe, there will be build up of pressure in the hose pipe because your hand is closing the hose pipe. So the thinner the hose pipe becomes, the more the pressure comes. Then we say you've got high blood pressure because your heart now has to use a lot of force and energy to pump blood through your thin blood vessels. That is what tobacco does. So I said erection is caused by free flow of blood. So the reason you are prone to have heart attacks when you are smoking a lot is because of vasoconstriction. The heart attack in your penis is erectile dysfunction. Also, it can cause increase in your BP, like I've said, because of the build-up of pressure in your blood vessels, the carbon monoxide, vasoconstriction. So ituba is also high risk, not only for lung cancer, but it's mentioned in a number of cancers where research. It's a risk factor, it's not a cause. You stand a high risk of developing lung cancer if you are smoking. You can see the lung on the right. Ufana nomle ingrebaselo kakhulu ungquphansi ubondawo uba ubona umle kwenzeka lonto kwilungs zakho because you are getting a lot of carbon monoxide deposits. And then your teeth can be tainted. And if ujonga benkala kahle uzofika kumnyama, then if ungakwazi uzixhela ukubona ilungs zakho uzofika ilungs zakho zimnyama kunezomuntu ongatshayiyo. That is why we discourage you from smoking and we encourage you to quit smoking for health reasons and to actually enable your lungs to carry a lot of oxygen to the rest of your body. Indlela zostopha again, you can decide because smoking is a habit. But with drug, it can move, you can actually be at the stage of being possessed by the drug. So it depends on where's the stage extra should decide how stop. But there are a number of organizations that are there to help you to quit smoking or quit alcohol. Alcoholism is when alcohol possesses you to an extent of missing out on work. Because of being possessed by alcohol or tobacco. You don't even arrive at home because you drank so much. Alcohol intoxication to an extent of confusion. Because of your brain was taken away from you and you remain a leader of your family. You've got kids to raise. You are a father. You are an example of what your kids should be. What they see in you is what they will actually grow up to do. Any questions, gentlemen? I think I'm done. I'm here to entertain your questions on every subject that I've spoken on and any other thing that I didn't touch on, and also what he has actually shared. Yes, sir.
Maybe we have better enough. Secondary smoking. How much serious do I have to take that?
But man must first take that question. You've been to so many gigs. I mean, do people smoke in public anymore?
Yeah, they do. We are going to be an environment where there's alcohol. Control measures may not be that much, or they may not be as strict as in now as smoking. I mean, also noticing from myself, from being a smoker into moving to this space up where I feel like I'm in control now. You start breathing better, as you said, and you can feel the change. When you find yourself in that type of environment, there is that shortness of breath. You feel it now, but it's not as strong. Probably umzimba wako doesn't immediately kick umzimba wako being used to that immediately. I think it took me time to get used to ivumba, lekuba, to such a point where I can't stand it. Only when I was taking the medication, there were times where it was too strong. But when I got to a point I would come over, I know I'm in control. But you raise a good question because there's Musalam. I may not be using it all show, but how much risk am I putting myself in? I'm not using it directly, but now in a way I've become a secondary smoker. How dangerous is that?
Thank you so much. The passive smoking is very dangerous. That is why I loved it when it became law or crime to actually smoke in public. There are designated smoking areas. I think they should even do away with those because if passive smoking is actually dangerous. If you look at someone smoking, they inhale a little bit of what they're actually taking in. The rest, they push out. They actually give the rest of the smoke to you. So when passive smoking, you can actually get more of the nicotine deposited in you than the person who's actually directly holding the cigarette. So if someone is smoking, in fact, that's one thing that I've actually introduced a Kai. When we were sitting in a rendezvous with this old man and so on, and then we find someone lighting, so I stand up and talk to them. Now they know that is routine. Even if I'm not there, they don't smoke in closed areas and whatever, or they go out when they want to smoke, because passive smoking is very dangerous, even more so than even the person who's actually holding the cigarette. So if someone is smoking next to you, make sure you reprimand them, you remind them about the law, or reprimand them about your own rights. Even if you're in a stadium and so on, make sure you tell them that you don't want to be exposed to smoking. It's dangerous.
Because I think I'm counting about 47 days after, well, during the period, no medication, what is the healing process in getting better?
The healing process takes time, but as early as within about 15 days or so of stopping, the flow of oxygen already improves. And the expansion and the elasticity of the lungs has started improving. So the longer you stay free from it, the more your lungs get a chance to heal. Otherwise, your oxygen carrying capacity has already improved. If you were to run 10 kilometers, you can run it better than you were 47 days before. Because that is all. You know why players that are playing sport, they go to the town they're going to play in good time to acclimatize. That's what they say. It's because your red blood cells need to adjust to the new environment. Because the higher you go, the more you need to reset. The same thing with smoking. Your oxygen carrying capacity improves with your smoke-free periods, irrespective of the type of tobacco you're using.
I think I'm going to ask the last question. Let me move 7 days. Especially after put it drink, soda water, Nancy, Coke, juice, and what have you. Is it really good from medical point of view? Or not from drinking point of view, from medical point of view?
Dash.
Exactly.
Not dash. So that's our first. Why are you guys dashing? I mean, it's a concept I'm going to answer you. But seriously, as someone who studied science and chemistry and whatever, you buy alcohol, which is a 15% alcohol that is there. Why do you dilute it with water?
Ngaphandle kwe-taste wena doc, abanye bakhetha amanzi, abanye will use i-juice, abanye will use i-tonics njalo njalo. I think ezingqondweni zethu thina xa uyidesha noko akufani ukuyibethe ro, because unayo ethi xa uyisela ungayimixanga iyakutshisa ngakhona. So rather ibekhona into ephazamisa. Am I wrong, man?
Is it not delaying isinxele? Unqamela unxila mos.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. The thing is, about usela kaloku, we don't go there or we drink to get drunk, but rather to socialize. This is part of what we are enjoying today as men. It's just a side thing, but obviously but it's not really about unwela, but rather having your drink while you have a good time, chatting to others.
And then do you guys educate the people in rural areas? Because if you know Mkiti and you put all the drinking stuff, these guys, they are like the Nama story. They write as if there's no alcohol tomorrow. Do you educate them about social drinking and just to ease things and whatever? Because it's like people just abuse alcohol as if there's no tomorrow. And one thing I want to highlight when it comes to health, alcohol, most people who commit crime, they are actually possessed by alcohol and other drugs. Health-wise, you can be intoxicated to an extent of getting confused and not even knowing where you are. And you can fall and actually harm yourself. And endlini, you can be abusive, not even remembering some of the memory becomes tainted when memory lapses because of abuse of alcohol. Sexually, you become a fumble because what alcohol does is to dilate blood vessels. If you talk about imithambo ithi ta, and by the time ngabetheka bafuna usondela kuwe ngazawuphuza because ingathi ufuna ummamele kakuhle, they want attention, but if ujonga imithambo ithe nta, so neyalapha empembeni imithambo ithe nta because yenza i-vasodilation. That vasodilation ilenza into abantu bathi sijeje ngathi siyasebenza because the vessels are quite wide open. The blood flow rushes quickly to the penis, but the unfortunate thing is that the alcohol does not only open the vessels that are bringing the blood to the penis, but also the vessels that are taking the blood away, that is the veins. So you'll have an erection, but it's a poor quality erection. As I'll collapse immediately, ingene. But when I've got a good erection, and then you push, and then you don't even feel that it has collapsed because your cognitive function is dented. You are not powerful. And secondly, in the long run, the carbohydrate that is in the alcohol is slowly getting converted into fat. That is why drunkards develop what we call beer belly. Carbohydrate is converted into fat, and the fat that is accumulating around your kidneys, your intestines, and your tummy is contributing to what we call central obesity. That is why we do take measure tests to measure what we call waist circumference. Waist circumference is once you have a 102 centimeters, then you know there is problem there. And if you drink alcohol, you are accumulating more of that fat, and in accumulating fat, you are accumulating a very dangerous enzyme called aromatase. It's converting that hormone that makes you a man into a female hormone. Igukula la ncindi yamadoda kuthiwa testosterone iyenze ibe estrogen. It means you are slowly becoming a female.
Okay.
Seriously? Yes. You are slowly. It's making. And continue drinking to develop something called liver cirrhosis. Have you seen someone with liver cirrhosis? Liver cirrhosis, your liver gets wounded. And in the healing process, we've got cells in your liver, we call them hepatocytes. Those are the building blocks of the liver. They get damaged, they release some of the enzymes into your blood. And in the healing process, your liver gets shrunk. And in the shrinking process, you will develop some balls in your liver. We call that liver cirrhosis. And then in that process, your tummy gets bigger because you get ascites, that is water in your abdomen, and your testes are becoming smaller and smaller. Some breasts. If you can visit someone with liver cirrhosis from alcohol, you will see everything I'm saying. They've got breasts, they've got big tummies, they've got small penis and small testicles. Because you are destroying yourself slowly. Central obesity from alcohol. It's not a problem to be a social drinker, but problem is people are abusing alcohol. I would actually say and encourage people to stay away from alcohol if you can. If you can't, then make sure you minimize your contact with alcohol because you know the consequences. In the way, concentration in alcohol, drinking beer is about 6% alcohol. So I always ask myself, what purpose does it serve? It's more like creating a friendly environment for the swallowing and everything. Otherwise, it doesn't make it better. You can't say it's better because the digestion. If you say commando, it's still thought the commando, then someone is drinking a glass of beer. You could be drinking the same concentration of alcohol, but in different containers. Because kushara make the whiskey, brandy, beer, that is why some people may think that I sell combo. No, what counts is ethanol. Ethanol. How much ethanol are you taking? But also you have to drink gallons and gallons of the same thing. Can't do whiskey, you will just drink the same thing. So fucking ice and so on. But eventually the amount or the concentration of ethanol that gets into blood is what counts, irrespective of the vehicle that you use. So if I not deliver sperm, it's not remember sebenzi. So kuthatha sperm ngenaliti siyofakwa egusheni for ukwenza umntana. Okanye this thing can't stand, mhlawumbe wafumana accident. Okanye it can stand iphele msinyane. But the vehicle that is carrying the sperm too, did the sperm reach the destination? Yes, it did. Then in what concentration? So irrespective of the kind of test that we are using, what counts is how much ethanol got into your blood. And for how long are you using alcohol? Yes, sir.
Okay, kulana kuyithetha ngokuya ukhula ukomelela kuyakusihla ingaba ke ngoku umuntu owesifazana kwenzeka njani ngaba kwenzeka the same thing because if you umuntu wesifazana maybe at the age of 45 iweekend ubo kwenzeka ntoni.
Thank you so much. That's a very critical question, and it's a question that is creating a lot of noise in social media because as men are getting weaker through the loss of testosterone, women are actually getting stronger and stronger. And when they get to 40, when they say life begins at 40, that is the more they need decent service. That is when you find that they find it difficult to even quit. So no, it's serious. We become lazy and lazy. That is why we need to check. Yes, it wasn't the interest. Now you understand that I can lose interest because of the amount of carbohydrate. Or because testosterone is low, or because of depression and stress. Give it attention. Give it attention. You must know that at age 40, things are not going to be the same. You are going down because you are losing about 1 to 2% of testosterone. So if you had testosterone of 10 in January at age 40, so it means by the end of the year, was a pair of 9 or 8. So you cannot go on because here I pay okay. Was a matapilatin, I sit on water in size. Was sugapi, the machongolwing. So make sure it's part of your routine checkup. Because women are getting stronger and stronger and they want quality service. They want it to last longer and they want to give quality for mutual satisfaction. Also, want to, they never go on. Let me just go through orgasm quickly. Because women are struggling to get orgasm. About 40%, 4 out of 10 women, they don't get orgasm. Because we think the penis is the answer to everything. But from this session, I know now we are going to use all your 5 senses. For 30 minutes, you're going to pretend that you don't have a penis. Cells go through phases. You've got the first phase, we call it excitement. The excitement is when you get arousal and interest. Here, arousal is when people know what you see. The woman is attractive, is looking sexy, and you appears that you want to. Now you must actually have looks. You must have looks. One invest in a tiger over every day in other way. That can kill the spark. Because you know that the first stage is arousal and excitement. You can kill it. kuMaspala, your marriage is sex-starved. Because the interest we put is banned. Mood killers. Remain fit and relevant. Unxibe kakuhle underwear zamadoda zimbi, I know. But at least try to do your best. Women can actually invest in lingering. We must do the same. Do your best to get at least something decent. Underwear because you will kill the excitement. Arousal is your duty. What they see should actually be attractive. We said life is a two-way process. The second phase, we call it plateau. Plateau. Let's say you got arousal, you got interest and everything, your hormones are fine. The second stage of sex is called plateau. Plateau is when you start breathing high, your blood pressure is rising, you are sweating, your pulse, you started with a pulse of 75, then your pulse is now at 150. You are pumping, you have not done anything, you are just touching and playing with each other. Then the third stage is when you hit the mountain, that is orgasm. The orgasm of a woman differs from that of a man. A man will actually have two stages, we call emission and ejaculation. Emission is when the semen is brought closer to the last tube. Then emission is the actual ejaculation of semen. So, fortunately with men, orgasm is usually coupled with ejaculation, but not always. But there's always some contraction of the pelvic floor muscles. But with women, it's a different story. Women don't ejaculate as you do. You won't see semen, but they may have secretions around. I said the whole area will be like swollen. They may be blushing all over. And the same thing, the breathing, the sweating and so on, the BP, if you had a chance to check your blood pressure, you will be shocked. It will be very high, just like the pulse. Then they've got contraction of the uterus. The uterus will be contracting out of being happy and thankful to you because you have made it rich. And if it will be like grasping you. It will be like grasping. It's like breathing. Then if you've got a chance to look, you will see the bulb, it will be like swollen. And there will be lots of secretions. That is how women get orgasm. And then if you are fortunate, there's something which is called squirting. Squirting is something that is like a milky or watery discharge that they can actually ejaculate or squid out. It comes from two glands that are around the mouth of the vagina, but that is a very rare phenomenon. You can get a bonus if you give her that. And if it happens, it doesn't happen, but just make sure they reach orgasm. And if that wets your bed, because it can actually appear like urine, don't run away and say, this woman actually made my no. You are the man of the 21st century, you know these things. Then the next stage is called resolution, is when you come to your senses. Another thing that happens during orgasm is that you release those hormones. The hormones of happiness, endorphins, oxytocin, serotonin. That's why your mood is elevated. You can commit and promise everything, even an aeroplane, even if you don't and find that the man has got 10 rand in the wallet. But the promises, she promised everything. Then when you come to resolution, your senses come back, your brain is back, your breathing comes down, your pulse rate comes down, and then you begin to realize, hey, I've got 10 rand in my wallet. What did I say? Then the important thing, the next stage is what is called refractory period, which is the last stage. Refractory period, your penis will collapse after ejaculation. It will collapse. And the most important thing that we need to teach women, if you didn't give them proper stuff in your first round, they will be disappointed and they want your penis to wake up very quickly. Tell them, I said, they must let it rest for at least 30 minutes to an hour. It won't wake up. That is why it is even difficult to fold a fist after you actually ejaculated, because your muscles are paralyzed. You must try and fold your fist. You'll find that you are so weak. If your enemy were to come that time, you are gone, I can assure you, because the hormones have actually paralyzed you. So tell a woman to at least allow you to rest for 30 minutes to an hour, or your partner, before they can actually go and harm that thing, because they can get angry and try to wake it up very quickly because you've messed up and then you left them hanging. Tell them it's not gonna work. And another thing that I want you to realize, gentlemen, as you become older, your refractory period becomes longer. So it means your penis can go to rest not only for 30 minutes to an hour, but for a week or even for a month. Yes, you find that you don't have an erection at all because you are still in a refractory period. That is life. You are still in the refractory period. So that is why you need to do your checkup, so that at least you make your refractory period shorter, not longer. You need to be healthy. That is just a bonus I wanted to share. But dashing and not dashing is just a question of choice. But what counts is ethanol. How much ethanol got into your blood? Yes, sir.
Just on a topic quickly, I've noticed that
You last longer.
the different part of the day plays a role. Like for instance, I think women enjoy the evening, but a man is tired in the evening. But now, as he got in his night's rest and he wakes up, now he can do a job and he can put a session in, a good session in the morning, early morning. I don't know what is your...
That's very important what you are raising. I said there's a very key hormone in men. We call it testosterone. Testosterone has got what is called diurnal variation. It varies in concentration over 24 hours. You understand? So your interest will actually be guided by the testosterone level. So early in the morning, it's easy to have a morning erection. But some men can be lazy in the morning because of ukubanga, and so on. So there could be other things, other senses that can actually kill the spark. But in terms of testosterone, the penis could be ready. So hormones can actually do that variation. Find that you are stronger in the morning and weaker maybe in the afternoon or in the evening. It is very important to communicate that, because now you know that testosterone varies with the time of the day. That is why we're not doing testosterone test. We do it at 9 in the morning, not after 10, so that it becomes scientifically accurate.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Thanks. In prostate, you mentioned that there's an age where you need to check up. What about diabetes, especially if there's a history of women?
If there's history of diabetes, my man, you better sit down with your doctor. What we do now, there's a syndrome we call prediabetes. We don't even wait for you to get to age 35. But if you know that you're diabetic or your parents are diabetic, we do what we call HbA1c when we do your checkup. It's blood that we take for testing, and we do what we call fasting blood sugar. We allow you not to eat for 12 hours, then we check blood, because that we know that we've got family history, so the risk is high. You do that almost 3 to 4 times a year. I would encourage, especially if you've got family history. It becomes part of your agenda. In prostate, you check it once a year. We don't need to see your bums every now and then. It's only once a year. That's the only prayer, once a year, that's all. Then you rest for the rest of the year. Just one day, 30 seconds. It's not even a minute. Then we're done with you. Please bless us, gentlemen.
Besides that one of inserting the finger, isn't there any other way of doing that test?
You see, science is very nice in the sense that we don't rely on one test. The reason we insert a finger, there is a condition that can affect prostate. We call it swelling of the prostate. We call it BPH, benign prostatic hypertrophy, swelling of the prostate. And then we do the blood to see is there cancer or not. So if we don't use both tests, let's say we take blood only, blood will say we don't have cancer, but we can still have prostatism. We can have symptoms of problems of the prostate without necessarily having cancer. Maybe your prostate is swollen because your urethra is cutting across the prostate, it's going through the prostate. So you'll have urinary symptoms from a swollen prostate, which you can only pick with inserting the finger. So if you combine those two tests, I can confidently say the prostate is fine, but if I do one, scientifically, it drops in accuracy.
Not that I like to do that. Maybe the doctors like it.
No, it's not something we like. We like medicine, we don't like fingers. But because it's part of our story, and we want healthy men. Our passion is to have healthy men. We don't like the anus at all. Yes, sir.
Well,